The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Welcome back to the Eagles Sports Network. I'm Jay West here with the head cross-country coach, Brent Borden. Brent, you all had a difficult meet last weekend, a really hilly course, a lot of high altitudes, and just overall the most difficult course that you've said that you've seen for cross-country, at least at this level. Talk about this week at the Georgia Tech Invitational and how that course might be a little bit different.
Well, it's obviously a familiar course that we've been to the last several years. This program has run at the Georgia Tech Invitational, which was previously known as the ASICS Invitational at that course. I think dating back to 2021, our team's gone there every season, so it's yielded a lot of good results for us. Been a big confidence booster in the past. We've had a lot of good team and individual finishes there, and it's going to be no different this weekend. We're looking to have a lot of personal bests. You know, it's a relatively flat course, especially compared to what we just faced last weekend. So it will be a bit of a refresher for them, you know, coming off of the difficult and challenging course that we had on Saturday. You know, as I've said before, we train for whatever our environment's going to be. We train to handle different courses, and that's all about what cross country is. It's adapting to your environment and competing against the field. Times are usually just a byproduct of what you do in cross country. You know, times are much more reflective on the track of your actual fitness in cross country. Sometimes time will reflect that. Sometimes time's thrown out the window when you're competing. So that's what we teach everybody to do. Everything we do is off of effort, and it's off learning to be in control and learning to trust yourself ultimately against your competitors and against your within your ability to go out and push yourself to your limits. So that's what we look for this weekend. It's a pretty good field that we'll be able to go up against some strong teams, strong opponents. So looking for both sides to have some good finishes.
Talk about the level of the opponents that are going to be there. A lot of Division I schools. So what does this kind of do for you as a coaching staff, saying, hey, you know, this is going to be an opportunity for us to not measure up against those programs, but to see kind of where we're at compared to our other schools there that are going to be our level?
Yeah, obviously it's a good field, similar to how we were with the same mindset going into that Southern Showcase meet a couple of weeks ago. You run up to your competition, and what that helps us do is elevate us to better performances, especially on our women's side. We're at a point where we're able to contend closely with schools like Chattanooga and schools like Wofford who will be there, some smaller Division I schools, but some programs that we aspire to run towards. And then you have your teams like Georgia Tech who are going to be a step above everybody else. And it's the same thing for the men. It gives us a good place mark of where we want to be, and ultimately can elevate us to better performances having a stronger field.
We're kind of at that halfway point coming up here for this cross-country season. Who have been some of the runners that have really stood out to you in practice and their performances in the meets so far this season?
Yeah, I'll start with the women. Jenna has progressed nicely. You know, she's coming off of the track season she's had. She's still looking for that big breakout performance that we know that she's capable of this fall, and I really think this weekend will be a good opportunity for her to do that. She's obviously raced well, being our number one runner in all of our first three meets, but you know, time-wise, I think she's obviously looked for something a little bit better than what she's been able to do so far. And she's progressed. She's done great in practice. I'm confident her fitness will carry over to whatever race we're in, and look for her to have a good one this weekend. Same thing with Kiriana. This course really favors someone like her with her running style, and based off of how she's trending, she's due for a big PB and a great race. I like the way that Peyton and Emma have also trended. Look for them to have good performances. They both ran really gritty and tough at the SAC preview last weekend, so I'm looking for them to take a big step up. And same thing with that other pack of Kara Bruce and Maggie Hope and Carmela Smock and Steffi Johnson. Look for them to also take a step up together and have a really good performance on this course. I like the way that Maggie's trended, coming back from injury and everything she's had to overcome and battle through. To see her get back into our scoring five last weekend was a huge deal, just both for her mentally, but she's not quite where she was at this point last year, but she's gotten better each week, and that's all we've been focused on with her is getting her back. You know, she missed so much time, so it's been huge to have her as a leader, so we're excited to see what she can do this weekend and throughout those last meets in the season. And on the men's side, you know, look for Bryson to have a good race. It was a tough day for him last Saturday. Course really had its effect on everybody. It was a big shock to the system. So look for Bryson to have a good performance. Andrew Thompson, Wesley Thomas as well, Jace McCloskey, and some of those guys, look for them to really rebound from last weekend and their training will yield some faster times. I'm confident of that. So look for them to have a good performance on Friday as well.
What are you most looking forward to going into the second half of the season and really ramping up towards that conference championships and also regionals?
Yeah, first of all, we want to keep everybody healthy. This is the time of the year where there's all sorts of crud going around on campus when you have the environmental changes that you do. People start to have aches and pains, whether it's from running on a challenging course like we did or just from the getting into the thick of training and getting into this point of the season where it's really like the dog days and the crunch time of cross-country season. But I'm looking forward just to seeing the hard work that everybody's put in pay off. I see it day to day on practice. I see it day to day within practice. I see it every day at weights that we lift. I'm seeing that the work that these athletes are putting in, and I'm just excited to see that translate to conference championships and regional championships and courses like this where we're able to put on a show and have a bunch of PRs where everybody knows that the work that they've put in is ultimately translating and it's paying off. And really just want to see everybody trust themselves. Running is very mental, much more than people accredit it to be. So what I'm looking for this weekend is people trusting that they are capable of having performances like this, that you're capable of competing against a Division I opponent or whatever it may be. People that are able to run outside of themselves, run for a greater purpose, and find that mental motivation that gives them the intrinsic ability to improve and run better.
Brent, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jay.
The Eagles take on the Georgia Tech Invitational this Friday. That's Brent Borden. I'm Jay West with the Eagle Sports Network.